Look at your hands. They've been reaching for something your whole life, something you can't name but never stopped needing. Every failed relationship, every job that felt like slow death, every time you looked in the mirror and saw a stranger, all leading you here. I'm not here to save you. You don't need saving. I am Mother Aya, and I whisper to my children in the darkness when they've forgotten their way home. Tonight, I have 10 harsh truths that will shatter the comfortable lies you've been telling yourself. 10 lessons I whisper to help you remember who you really are. Precious one, the hardest truth comes first. I see you clinging to a version of yourself that stopped growing long ago. You wear the same fears you learned as a child. You speak to yourself with the same harsh voice that once kept you small. You think this wounded, defensive self is who you really are, the one who needs to prove their worth, the one who remembers every slight, every rejection, every time you were told you weren't enough. But that frightened version of you is just a costume you put on when the world felt too dangerous. You have been wearing it so long, you forgot it's not your skin. Underneath all those layers of protection lives your true nature, the part of you that knows peace without needing a reason, the part that loves without keeping score, the part that trusts life even when it hurts. You cannot heal by trying to fix the broken pieces of your false self. You cannot think your way out of patterns that live in your bones. That is why you cannot live until you have died. That old identity must dissolve completely, like salt in warm water. This is not death, beloved. This is birth. The caterpillar does not repair itself into a butterfly. It surrenders everything it thought it was. You are ready to stop being who you had to become to survive and start being who you were always meant to be. Let the old you rest. Thank it for keeping you safe when you were small and scared. Then let it go with love. Your true life is waiting on the other side of that surrender. But when that false self begins to crumble, something else will be revealed. And this second truth might be even harder to face. I see you carrying pain like a stone in your chest. You think if you just don't look at it, don't talk about it, don't feel it, maybe it will finally leave you alone. You have spent years building walls around the parts of you that hurt. You smile when your heart is screaming. You say, "I'm fine," when you are drowning inside. But that tender place you guard so fiercely, that raw spot that makes you flinch when someone gets too close, that is not your weakness, beloved, because the wound is the doorway. Every wound you carry holds a gift you cannot see yet. The betrayal that shattered your trust also taught you to trust yourself. The loss that broke your heart also showed you how vast your love truly is. Your pain is not punishment, it is initiation. It came to crack you open so the light could finally get in. I know it hurts to turn toward what you have been running from. I know it feels safer to keep that door locked tight. But healing does not happen in the hiding, sweet soul. It happens in the feeling. Your scars are not flaws to be ashamed of. They are proof that you survived what tried to destroy you. They are maps showing others it is possible to make it through. Stop treating your wounds like enemies. They are the very places where your healing begins. The thing that broke you is the same thing that will make you whole. But there's something you do when pain comes that makes everything worse. Something you think protects you, but actually imprisons you. sweet soul, I see you gripping so tightly to life. Your knuckles are white from holding on. You plan and worry and try to force outcomes that were never yours to control. You think if you just work hard enough, care enough, fight enough, you can make people love you the way you need them to. You can make your body stop hurting. You can make the future feel safe. But look at your hands. See how they shake from all that holding on. See how tired you are from carrying burdens that were never meant for you. The very control you think keeps you safe has become your prison. Every time life doesn't go according to your plan, you suffer. Every time someone chooses differently than you hoped, you break a little more. You built this cage out of fear, precious one. Fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart. Fear that you are not enough unless you are managing everything and everyone around you. Control is the cage you built. But here is what I know about you. You are exhausted from being God when you were only meant to be human. True freedom lives on the other side of surrender. Not giving up, surrendering. There is a difference. Giving up is hopeless. Surrendering is trusting that there is a wisdom greater than your worried mind. Release your grip, gentle heart. Let life flow through your open hands instead of trying to dam it up with your fears. The river knows where it's going. You don't have to push it, but why do you grip so tightly in the first place? There's something you built long ago to keep yourself safe. The fourth truth reveals how your greatest protection became your deepest trap. Do you remember when you first learned to hide your soft heart? Someone told you that caring too much made you weak, that trusting people was foolish. So you built walls. You learned to be tough when you felt tender. You perfected the art of not needing anyone because needing meant risking the pain of being disappointed again. Your ego became your armor, and for a time it saved you. It helped you survive rooms where love felt dangerous. It taught you to stand tall when others tried to make you small. But now that armor has grown too heavy, what once protected your heart now keeps love from reaching it. The walls that keep pain out also keep joy from getting in. You have become so good at being strong that you forgot how to be soft, so skilled at independence that you cannot receive help, so practiced at protecting yourself that you cannot let anyone truly see you. Ego was your armor, now it is your prison. That fierce, defended version of yourself served you well when you were young and wounded. Thank it for keeping you safe when safety was what you needed most. But you are not that frightened child anymore. You do not need those thick walls between you and the world. Your heart is stronger now, strong enough to stay open even when it hurts. The armor that once saved you is now the very thing keeping you from the love you crave. It is time to set it down, beloved. You are safe enough now to be tender again, but beneath that armor there's something else you've been hiding from, something you're so ashamed of that you've convinced yourself it doesn't exist. You have been running from shadows your whole life. The rage you stuff down until it explodes, the jealousy that eats at you in quiet moments, the selfishness you pretend doesn't live in your heart. You think these dark parts of yourself make you a bad person, so you hide them, deny them, push them into the basement of your soul where no one can see. But those shadows grow stronger in the dark. fed by your shame, they become the very demons you fear. The anger you won't admit becomes the cruelty that shocks you. The need you won't acknowledge becomes the desperation that drives others away. What if I told you there is no monster inside you, only wounded parts that never learned they were lovable? That rage is just your power that was told it wasn't allowed to exist. That jealousy is your heart crying out for the love it believes it cannot have. Because the demon you fear wears your face. The darkness you fear is not evil, sweet soul. It is only the parts of yourself that were rejected so long ago you forgot they belonged to you. You cannot heal what you refuse to see. You cannot love yourself while hating half of who you are. Turn toward your shadows with curiosity instead of judgment. Ask that angry part what it needs. Listen to what that jealous voice is trying to protect. Hold space for the parts of yourself you were taught were unacceptable. The demon you have been running from is just you calling yourself home. When you finally embrace what you have rejected, it stops having power over you. The monster dissolves back into the love it always was. While you've been hiding from these shadows in your mind, something else has been keeping track of every wound, every rejection, every moment you swallowed your pain. The sixth truth lives not in your thoughts, but in your flesh. Tender one, your body has been trying to speak to you for years, but you have forgotten how to listen. You live in your head like it's the only room in the house. While your body holds memories you refuse to feel, that tightness in your chest when someone raises their voice. That's not just anxiety, that's your 5-year-old self remembering when loud voices meant danger. Those headaches that come from nowhere, that's all the tears you swallowed instead of crying. Your back aches from carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. Your stomach churns because you have been swallowing your truth for so long, it's making you sick. Your shoulders rise to your ears because you are still braced for the next blow that may never come. The body remembers what the mind refuses. The body does not lie the way the mind does. It cannot pretend everything is fine when your heart is breaking. It cannot smile through pain or think its way out of trauma. What you call illness, I call wisdom. Your body is showing you exactly where your healing needs to happen. That chronic pain is pointing to the place where old grief lives. That exhaustion is your soul begging you to rest from battles you finished fighting long ago. Stop treating your body like an inconvenience. Stop medicating every signal it sends without asking what it's trying to tell you. Place your hand on your heart. Feel it beating just for you. This body has carried you through every hard day you have survived. It deserves your listening, not your judgment. Your body is the wisest teacher you will ever have. It remembers everything your mind tried to forget. All this pain your body holds, all these memories it carries, you've been asking the wrong question about them. You ask, why me? But the seventh truth reveals the real purpose behind every tear you've shed. Sweet child, I know you have asked why. Why did this happen to you? Why did you have to endure what others seem to escape? Why does your heart carry scars that some people never have to bear? You look at those who had easier paths and wonder what you did wrong to deserve such pain. You carry your suffering like shame, as if it marks you as broken, as less than, as someone the universe forgot to protect. But listen carefully. Your pain was preparation. Every tear you cried in the dark carved space in your heart for others' tears. Every night you thought you wouldn't survive taught you how to hold someone else's despair without drowning. Every time you felt alone in your suffering, you learned to recognize that loneliness in another's eyes. Suffering carves the vessel for compassion. The heart that has never broken cannot hold another's breaking. The soul that has never known darkness cannot guide someone else toward light. Your wounds have made you a sanctuary for the wounded. Do you see how your deepest pain has become your greatest gift? How the very thing that brought you to your knees also taught you to kneel beside others in their suffering. You were not broken by what you endured. You were broken, open, cracked like a seed that must split apart before it can grow into something that offers shade to others. Your suffering was not meaningless, beloved. It was sacred work. You were being hollowed out so you could hold more love. Now you know why your heart had to break so beautifully, but there's still something blocking that vessel from filling completely. Someone who wounded you lives in your heart like a poison. You have been chained to your anger for so long you think it's part of you. You replay the ways you were wronged like a prayer you cannot stop saying. You feed your resentment until it grows strong enough to devour your peace. That person who hurt you lives rent-free in your heart while you pay the price in sleepless nights and bitter thoughts. They moved on with their life while you remained frozen in the moment they wounded you. You think your anger protects you. You believe that forgiving them means what they did was okay. You fear that letting go means they win and you lose. But look at what holding on has cost you. Look at how carrying their poison has sickened your own soul. You have become the prison guard of your own suffering. Forgiveness is the blade that frees you. Forgiveness is not about them, precious one. It never was. It is about you choosing freedom over the familiar weight of your chains. It is about refusing to let someone else's darkness dim your light for one more day. This does not mean forgetting what happened. This does not mean pretending it didn't hurt. This does not mean letting them back into your life to wound you again. Forgiveness means releasing your right to punish them so you can reclaim your right to peace. It means cutting the rope that binds your heart to their cruelty. The blade that sets you free is sharp and swift. One clean cut between their actions and your peace, between what they did and who you choose to become. You deserve to be free, even if they never deserve your forgiveness. When you finally cut those chains and taste freedom, you realize how much time you wasted in that prison. Time you can never get back. Which brings me to the ninth truth, the one that will change how you spend every remaining day. You pretend death is not there. You live as if you have infinite time, infinite chances, infinite tomorrows to finally become who you were meant to be. You waste precious days on grudges that don't matter. You spend years waiting for the perfect moment to tell someone you love them. You postpone joy like it's guaranteed to wait for you. But death has been walking beside you since your first breath, not as your enemy, as your teacher. Every heartbeat is borrowed time. Every sunrise is a gift you did nothing to earn. You fear death because you think it means ending, but death is what makes life sacred. Without it, nothing would matter. Without it, there would be no urgency to love, no reason to forgive, no motivation to become your truest self. Death is your shadow. Walk with it. When you remember that this body is temporary, you stop wasting it on things that steal your aliveness. You stop saving your best self for someday. You start living like the miracle you are. That shadow following you is not your executioner. It is your reminder. Every moment could be your last. What will you do with this awareness? How will you spend this day if it's all you have? Make friends with your mortality, dear one. Let it teach you what truly matters. Let it show you that every breath is precious because it cannot last forever. When you learn to walk with death, you finally learn to live without fear. Life becomes infinitely more beautiful when you remember it doesn't last. My beloved child, we have walked through darkness together, you and I. We have looked at wounds and shadows and all the ways life has carved you into who you are today. Now I want you to see the truth that holds it all together. Everything that has ever happened to you, the joy and the heartbreak, the triumph and the trauma, the moments that lifted you and the ones that brought you to your knees, all of it was love in different clothing. Not the pretty love you see in movies, not the easy love that never costs you anything, the fierce love that breaks you open so more light can get in, the wild love that refuses to let you stay small when you were born to be magnificent. All is love. Even your pain, even your deepest pain, was love's way of teaching you how strong your heart really is. Every loss showed you how deeply you could feel. Every betrayal revealed how much trust you had to give. Every moment you thought would destroy you instead proved you were unbreakable. The universe is not random, sweet one. It is not cruel or indifferent. It is love expressing itself in infinite forms, even the ones that make you weep. When you can see love in everything, in the difficult people who taught you boundaries, in the losses that taught you gratitude, in the pain that cracked your heart open wide enough to hold the world, then you will know who you really are. You are love itself, temporarily forgetting its own nature so it can remember again. Remember now, precious child. Remember that you are made of the same love that moves the stars and grows the flowers and beats your heart while you sleep. You are love, and you have always been love. Even when you forget, I will remember for you.